What is options expiration and why does it matter? Check it out. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and I wanted to redo my options expiration video. What is it? Why does it matter? And please stick around, check this out, because again, this is one of the hardest times of the year, month, just in general. It's very confusing, and I wanted to dig a little deeper into it. Did this video back in November and 21, and pretty good, but I think I could take it to another level. Again, this room is meant for traders who are, a little more immediate advance because they've been in the market, they're familiar with a lot of the concepts of what's going on. Check out the link for the Discord room as well. It's in the description below. And if you're not familiar with the Discord room, I promise it's worth checking out. Tons of side rooms, tons of information, reference articles, recommended reading. You can't go wrong. So if you have any questions, again, leave a comment in the description and let's get into it. So what is options expiration? You have to ask yourself, what is the purpose of it? What is going on? Well, when I first started trading, there was one options expiration. It was the third Friday of every month. And that's what it was. And it was pretty illiquid. And if you got a million options trading, expiring, it was a big deal. And point being is, what are options, right? If you don't understand what they are, remember, they're the right to a stock at a particular price point in the future. Well, why do people sell them? Why do they buy them? Well, that's a whole different game. But ultimately, if you're the market maker, you and I are the casino, you are the specialist for a particular option, a particular stock on an option, our goal is to what? To get as many to expire worthless at the end of the expiration. Our goal isn't to cash people out, right? Say if the SPY closes at, we would like it to close at a particular price. We don't want it to be over. We don't have to buy the stock and then give them the reward of exercising if they so choose. And so it's really a simplistic basis for it, but then the execution of how this all plays out gets really difficult. So if you understand that the casino ultimately is trying to get as many options to expire worthless, well, typically this is the Monday of the expiration. You're probably going to see more volume on the Friday, because again, that's where the market makers are really going to start punching it to do whatever the hell they want, whatever they're looking for. Now, this is where it gets tough, and I tell this to people all the time. What is OPEX good for? It's good for what? Extremes, highs and lows, or just straight up pin action. What do I mean by pin action? Literally, what? The market pins the price action. It doesn't go anywhere. It knocks everybody out. So for example, if you're looking at a stock like, let's kind of winging this, Apple. If I had to guess, it's probably pinned somewhere in the 170s. The upside's probably in the 175. Now, why do you say that? Why is this? Well, it's just basically me studying the pin action from the options chain. If you don't have option chains, you should check that out. You go to your brokerage account. There's probably option chains. You go to Yahoo Finance. It's pretty easy to quick check. And what you need to look for, not only is you need to look at the open interest, you need to look at the volume, because the volume during the week of the major OPEXs, it'll show you something. So for example, like Tesla, if I had to guess, it's probably pinned at worst to an upside max. What is that? I mean, probably somewhere in the 940 to 950 range, right? Like, think big round numbers, think big emotional prices. You want to talk about, say, like AMD, it's probably the 100 level. I hope this makes sense, because the market maker, again, knows that you and I are looking at big round numbers, big price action from particular stocks to do what at certain prices, right? If the move has already been running big, well, guess what? The market maker really wants to chop that out so all those calls that were being bought become worthless. And if it's dropping big, well, then guess what? They want those puts to expire worthless by maybe popping the stock. And again, the nickname for OPEX is CHOPEX. Just whenever in doubt and you're like, what's going on? Think about it. It's just CHOPEX. Ultimately, the biggest thing that you have to recognize as a trader is the stock going sideways. Is it topping, or is it bottoming? And now this sounds like, well, that's every day, Dan. No crap. Yes. But one of the things that you look for is what? The trend to change. the extremes to hit, right? This is where the week of what? I've said this, first and last 3 days of the month and OPEX are typically the inflection points in the market. Well, why? Because there's typically big volume action during those weeks. If you don't realize this, the market is what? It's seeking volume always. Why? Well, what's so important about volume, right? Well, guess what? There's no reason to mark up the stock of Apple if the market makers can't absorb a bunch of shares at a wholesale price to sell at a later price much higher to you and I. That's their goal, right? So if there's no volume, then there's no action. Well, at this point, that's what you have to realize, like OPEX, first and last 3 days of the month, that's where the volume comes in. And if you don't know why the first to last 3 days, check out that video. It's also in the Discord room on the YouTube channel. So I want to keep it really simple because a lot of people, I think, get confused by it. If you are watching a particular stock, you need to look at the options chain, kind of see where the volume is, and think about it. If you want to see the pin action, well, then you need to see a price that's probably going to kill just as many puts as calls. And for example, if it's AMD, it's probably 100. There's probably a lot of calls over 100, probably a lot of puts under 100. So if I just had a guess, that would be my guess. Now, this is just me winging this through because honestly, it's the Monday of OPEX, so I'm not super excited. But look at something like the IWM. If I had a guess, probably big round level, 200, and it's the 200 day, right? That makes sense, right? Here's the first and last 3 days of the month. Here you go, IWM popping and failing then. June, here you go. Coming into the first 3 trading days of the month, boom, blows out. I hope this stuff is simplistic in nature, but complicated. Think about who you are going up against. If you are buying calls and buying puts, always tell people, know your enemy. Well, what is the enemy? It's the market maker. It's a specialist. It's the person selling you the options. They want you to lose. They're not here to pay you, right? The goal is to get as many as possible. So if you were thinking about a longer term trade, be very wary during OPEX that you could get stuck. Or if you're swing trading for the long term and it's just nothing's happening, don't be surprised. I hope this stuff helps. Again, think in your mind about the enemy. Think about the market maker. Think about the specialist. And not have the perspective that has to be me and has to be right now. Because there's plenty of examples where, if I remember correctly, we were watching Apple during OPEX in November. And what did it do? It started the breakout, right? Like it must have been compressed. Everyone was thinking it was going to hold the 150 level. So there's probably a ton of what I would consider selling of calls, or maybe people who had kind of given up on it. Boom, it breaks out. You can see here. Here's the OPEX. Bink, went higher. Now you can see tons of opportunities where, again, let's probably check it. I'm just kind of winging it through. It's the first of the month. Here you go. Here's an OPEX peak down. Probably a ton of calls after a big run up, right? Let's look at some of these bottoms real quick. Not really seeing. Oh, here you go. The June OPEX, the bottom for Apple. So if you were looking to short Apple, well, then this is probably a time that you put it on your radar. Now, I always tell this to people. If you think that you can pick the exact price to a penny, 20 cents, good luck. I mean, I just want to be close. So I hope this stuff helps. Again, if you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. Leave a comment below. The link for the Discord room is in the description below. There's a ton to learn here. And ultimately, a lot of people are blind to what options expiration is because sometimes they're expecting big moves and they don't get it. Sometimes they think the stock is dead and waterlogged, and next thing you know, it breaks out without anyone paying attention. That's what the market maker does. That's what they're trying to facilitate in this game, right? And if you think about it, and I say this all the time, VIX termination, options expiration, trying to kill as many puts and calls, well, guess what? They're also probably trying to hold the VIX down. And so you see a lot of times where you get the retest. Let me see if I have any specifically right here. Not seeing any at the moment, but point being is that there are times where they're trying to get the options down if they can. They'll hold it and compress it here like in November. This is when the video, like you had a pop in the VIX and they just really wanted to hold it down. I mean, are we in this same thing this week potentially? I don't know. We're at the range lows. This is where you have to know the environment and you have to know the probabilities. If you are stuck in a market that's going nowhere, don't be surprised if if the market breaks out during OPEX. And if it's topping or at the highs, could it be a pullback coming? If it's at the lows. You see how you have to see like the market maker is using the options action to try to what? Minimize the amount of payouts that they have to make. And again, if you think of it again as they're taking our bets, now you understand that. So if the VIX is compressing and people are getting super bullish and it's August of 2022, which they are, like everyone's reading the headlines, the worst is behind us, bear market's over. Everyone at one point was bullish, but now they're not, or bearish. Well, this is the kind of stuff I'd be looking for. I hope this helps. And if you have any questions, again, hit me up. Talk to you later. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.